Hey everyone, I haven't done a discography video, or at least, I felt like maybe the last video kind of did with that sort of, topic, if you will, was probably the Steely Dan, and, I did Peter, Paul, and Mary and all that, but I want to go ahead, and I know I wanted to do this, so might as well do it, talk about, this is from the original album series set, and I have the Young Rascals, Young Rascals / Rascal. This was distributed from Warner Brothers. Of course, obviously all 5 of these were from the Warner Brothers label. I'm going to talk about America. Not most people don't really talk about these guys. Like, why are you even talking about these guys? They're only well known for their hits, but I think their album tracks are actually really, really good. Most of their, they're mostly like a pop, soft, a little bit later they got a little bit into that yacht rock, sort of feel, but you kidding me, no one really ever talks about, really about America as much. It's basically the 3 guys, originally their fathers were, in the U.S. They were U.S. Air Force flighters, if you will, and they were dispatched over in London. The 3 of them all met in London Central High School. They formed together in 1970. And the 3 original guys were Dewey Bunnell. He was the only, he was actually English, he was born on January the 19th of 1952. Jerry Beckley, he's the guy with the glasses, the blonde hair. He was from Texas, but he was born September the 12th of 1952. And then Dan Peake was born November the 1st of 1950, but he died just 10 years ago. Can you believe that? July the 24th of 2011 in Panama City. I think he was originally from, he was originally from Panama City, but died in Missouri, I believe. So anyways, folks, let's go ahead and get started. Alrighty. This album I always mention, their debut album, is absolutely, now, they were, with their albums, or at least the string of albums that they came out with all the way up until probably like the late 70s, they started with, the first letter would be H. Due to the fact that it's almost like an English sort of, part of the English alphabet, with H. So they always had to start their albums off. They have their albums being the first word H in it. But this is their self-titled album. Now they did, however, re-release this and call it Horse with No Name. So that way it's kind of, flows through with their other albums. But anyway, self-titled album. This is absolutely great. Fantastic. I love the back too. This reminds me a lot of, if you love Crosby, Stills, Nash, this is definitely straight out of the whole, it's got that folk influence. This came out December of 1971. This was recorded in Trident and Morgan Studios in 1971. And this album went #1. So it did, well, obviously great, right? If it went #1, hey, Of course, who doesn't like A Horse with No Name? That went #1 in the spring of 72. They also had that another great, perfect song, I Need You, which is a great song, which Jerry Beckley sings on. He's great, man. I love some of the other songs too as well, including Sandman, which is based on the U.S. Air Force, whatever. This is Riverside, a great opening. I love that one. Rainy Day. What a beautiful song. This is marvelously arranged. This is absolutely great. I love this. Okay. So they come out with their second album. It was released November the 15th of 1972. It was recorded in 72 in Record Plant in California, Los Angeles. The album's called Homecoming. I love that album cover, and the back too is really, really nice. I like that. Whoever the photographer was, these are really great. Alrighty, this album went to #9. This did, however, pump out at least one really big song, Ventura Highway. That's a great song. Oh my God. And a minor hit, Don't Cross the River, came out early 73. Only went to number 23. Oh my goodness, you got two of the greatest key players here. You got Hal Blaine. Oh my goodness. I can definitely hear that for sure on this. And even Joe Osborne, who was also a key bass player for the Wrecking Crew. So there you go. You got two Wrecking Crew people here. I don't know who produced at least the first two records. Ian Samwell, I believe that's his name. Okay. And I'm not sure about this one here. But anyways, beautiful stuff on here. I feel like Homecoming, you're getting a little bit more of that whole pop. It's not so much of that whole kind of with the first album. It kind of feels a little bit more like they're going for more, a little bit more of a different arrangement. But yeah, of course, it's still good. This album I never actually heard of. This next one coming up. This one's called Hat Trick. This came out October the 19th of 73. It was recorded May the 29th and July the 12th of 73, same year. It was recorded in the studio called Sane. I don't know if I pronounced it here. Same, I'm not. Doesn't say on the back. I guess it's called Same Studios. It's got that Muskrat Love, that's on here. You know, it became a famous song for Captain Tennille, you see. It only went to number 67, but man, another great back cover. I really love that. I feel like their back covers are great, you know, like just it's so marvelous. You got a lot of people on here. You got Hal Blaine, Bruce Johnson, and Carl Wilson. You know, they were from the Beach Boys at this time, and Joe Walsh playing guitar on Green Monkey. I never heard this album. You know, it only went to number 28. So this album didn't really commercially do that well. And plus with Muskrat Love, are you kidding me? That song just, ugh. Anyways, I digress. Okay, here's one that I had on my album, my 5 albums of 74. Holiday. This came out June the 26th of 1974, and the back cover looks kind of weird, right? But I do like that. It's almost like a picture frame, almost like going on a holiday. Was released June the 26th of 1974, recorded April 17th and May the 7th of that year in Air Studios. You know, it went to number 3, the album, but are you kidding me? These two songs are absolutely probably my top favorite America songs. Tin Man and Lonely People. These are right there at the top 5. Great. And this was the first album produced by good old George Martin. This was his first album his first produced album with the band. It definitely has that George Martin arrangement, definitely for sure. He's got his fingerprints all over that. And Jeff Emmerich, he engineered the album as well. And he would be producing all these albums all the way up until, I think, Silent Letter, which came out in 79, but we'll get to that one. And then here we go. Their next album was called Hearts. And if you tell, these guys definitely rock, man. I mean, look at this. So these guys feel like they're having such a good time. And you know, this was shot in the Golden Gate Bridge, you know, San Francisco. Was released March the 19th of 75. It was recorded January the 6th and January the 6th and 30th of 75. Was recorded in Plant Studio in Sausalito in California. This went gold. I think this was one of their, or at least I don't know, maybe their previous albums went gold, but this one I wrote down gold. It went gold. Went to number 4 of the album. Are You Kidding Me? Sister Golden Hair. Great song. Oh my goodness. Almost has like a Beach Boys vibe. But you got Daisy Jane. Not really a big fan of that one. It went to number 20. This one, they're going a little bit more, they're trying out new things here. They're being a little bit more different. But this one's actually pretty good. I'm trying to see what else was also on here. Old Virginia, People in the Valley. So yeah, was, oh yeah, produced by George Martin. There you go. Jeff Emmerich. David Dickey plays the bass. Who else is on here? Clyde King. You know, I've heard that name before. Record plants in San Francisco, Los LA, Air Studios. There you go. So yeah, this is not too bad. I like this one. You know. Now, I don't have any of their other albums, so here we go. Hideaway was released April the 9th of 1976, was recorded February the 16th through the 28th of 76. This was recorded in Caribou Ranch in Colorado, which, of course, Elton John's Caribou was also recorded in as well. This went to number 11. This also went gold. The singles on here was Today is the Day, went to number 23, and Amber Cascades only went to 75. So probably at this point, and was produced by George Martin once again. Maybe this time, the album cover, I think I've seen the album cover before, but it's like the three of them, and it looks like they're in Colorado, because duh, Caribou. Yes, there you go. It was probably, shot near the studio or whatever. I never heard this album. I don't know. I never heard of Today's the Day. Maybe I need to listen to it, but so yeah. And here's their last album, starting with the letter H. This one's called Harbor. This came out February the 15th of 77. This only went to number 21. I feel like at this point in time, or at least this point during this era, their albums started to decline a little bit. This was recorded in Kalakiki and Kauai, Hawaii. This was, unfortunately, this was the last album with Dan Peek. I never heard this album. There wasn't any singles that came out off of this. And it definitely has, I'm pretty sure this definitely has that yacht feel, that late 70s. Now you're getting a little bit of that, maybe that, what's that, Townsend band or whatever, or England Dan. You're starting to get that feel a little bit. So I don't know. I mean, there you go. And then this is their last album, this album right here, Silent Letter. This came out June the 15th of 79. This was the last album with George Martin. And this was the first album on Capitol Records. This was released on, did I already say that already? June 15, 79, okay. Recorded March and April 79 in the Air Studios. I guess this is in London. So there you go. I don't think there wasn't any singles off of this, but this reached 110. Oh man, not too good. But anyways, I digress. Okay, then they came out with an album called View from the Ground. Now they did have another album, Abaroo, I believe it was called. It didn't do too well, but this is finally them getting back on their feet again on the Billboard chart. Once again on Capitol Records, this time released July 15th of 82. This was recorded in 4 different studios. Capitol Records, Sateria Records, Studios. Sateria Studios, Amigo Studios, and good old Abaroo Studios. There you go. Even though this wasn't produced by George Martin, but they did recorded it in Abaroo. A lot of people on this record, including Christopher Cross, he was sort of big at this time, and Carl Wilson from the Beach Boys doing backing vocals. Then yeah, they had that big hit called You Can Do Magic. It had the music video and stuff. Came out in '82, probably at that time, probably, and it went to number 8. And the record, the Billboard album chart, it only reached number 41. So, alrighty, so then they came out with Your Move and Perspective. I never heard of any of these albums. And at this point too, as well, they only were just a duo at this point. It was just, it was Dewey and Jerry basically doing these albums here. Never heard of these albums, but I heard they weren't really that great. They weren't really that memorable. They finally came out after many of live, because I will talk about just the number of live albums that they had and compilations. We finally get an album called Hourglass. Came out May the 17th of 1994. At this time too, they were jumping, or at least after this album, they kind of jumped over to other record companies. Yeah, it was released on American Gramophone. I'm pretty sure this has that mid-90s feel, that contemporary, adult contemporary feel. Not that I didn't heard about it, but you know what I mean. Because you see, I wasn't born in '94. Not that I didn't know about this album anyways, but And then they came out with another album called Human Nature. Came out September of '98. Must probably have that late '90s feel. I believe Carl Wilson, or I don't know, because I think '98. He died in '98, but a lot of people performed on this album. I never heard of this album either. Their very last album came out in 2007. So after Human Nature, there's a 9-year gap, and then we get Here and Now in 2007, January 16th. This was recorded in New York City. I've heard that they kind of were going back to their roots a little bit, like going back to some of, at least going back to that early sound that they had during their earlier albums, 72 through, whatever. Maybe I need to maybe hear it, but, or, maybe I need to check it out. But, the album cover definitely looks like an earlier America album cover. But anyways, folks, they also, there was also a movie, a soundtrack movie. Well, a movie and a soundtrack. It was called The Last Unicorn. It came out in 1982, and it was arranged by Jimmy Miller. Or no, not Jimmy Miller. Jimmy Webb. Sorry, Jimmy Webb. And I know, but anyways, yeah, Jimmy Webb. He arranged the soundtrack for the album, and there were some tracks done by America. That was released in '82, but overall, there's a compilation I'm familiar with, definitely familiar with. I've seen the album cover, and it was released in 1975, and I think it was their first compilation. It was called History, America's Greatest Hits, I believe it was called. But they had came out with 10 compilations, and they had came out with 7 live albums, including one called In Concert. So there you go. But anyways, folks, that's it. You know what? These guys are very, very underrated. I would suggest to probably check out at least, probably their first 5. Get this set here, the original album series. These are really, really remastered very well. I think they're definitely a very, very well arranged. Just the 3 of those guys, and I think they're still out there. Jerry and Dooley. I think these guys are still out there, still performing these songs. That everyone knows. Horse with No Name and Sister Golden Hair and all that. But you know what? America are great. And I kind of feel like that these guys are very kind of underrated for sure. Yeah, well, they're just soft rock, whatever. They're just, shut up. Just generic, really. But anyways, folks, I think I've talked plenty of time. So, alrighty, America, they're great. So take care, folks. Bye-bye.